This is Gary Whitney with the third video in the series based on Song of the Avatar, visual riffs on the Bhagavad Gita. Today I'd like to cover Chapter 2, The Sage. Krishna says, Arjuna, why do you despair? The army of material desire has but one purpose, the destruction of your inner peace. Sympathizing with greed, pride, anger, and fear will only bind you further to your karma, which in turn will serve to prevent your attainment of the true joy of enlightenment. Do not surrender to this weakness resulting from the attachment to your sense habits. Rise up, Arjuna. Use the gift of meditation to lift your awareness to a higher consciousness. But, my ego and habits of the past were my teachers. They inspired me to become who I am. If I were able to use meditation and renunciation to destroy these teachers, any joy that I might find would be blood-stained, tainted with bad vibes. What would there be left to live for? Krishna, please teach me what I need to know. First of all, to be wise, you must not mourn for the dead, or for the living. Do not be moved to action by the restlessness of your mind. Have no fear of death, which is simply the suspension of this body's activity. If you uplift your consciousness, you will find that all worldly problems are temporary. Life and death are only stressful because of your identification with your body, your family, and your stuff. True happiness does not come from people or possessions. People will die, and possessions become meaningless when you grow bored with them. But by meditating on immortal spirit, it is possible to attain eternal peace and joy. Develop indifference toward the dualities of happy and sad, hot and cold, and all sensations. This non-attachment will help you to arise above sorrow. The delusion that spirit does not exist brings ignorance and suffering to the world. The wise have glimpsed the eternal reality existing behind the veil of creation, and their happiness is permanent. The body will age, but the divine spirit dwelling within the body is infinitely ageless. Concentrate, Arjuna, on your immortal self. Fearlessly abandon attachment to this temporary body and its senses. After the physical body ceases to function, the immortal self lives on. Death is simply a matter of trading in a worn-out bodily garment for one that is new. The higher self is like an actor playing many different roles through many lifetimes. The costumes and physical appearance are different in each incarnation, but the spirit itself never changes. Scientists can analyze the physical world, but the ultimate beginning and end of the stream of our incarnations is shrouded in mystery that science can never explain. Arjuna, even if you believe that the spirit dies with the body, there is nothing to be gained by grieving. It's better to learn to control the senses and to practice meditation. In dreams, you experience different situations every night, yet you wake up unchanged. The indwelling spirit experiences different situations in every incarnation and also remains unchanged. If no mortal can ever solve this mystery, what is the point of grieving? In the same way that soldiers should never back away from protecting their countries, spiritual warriors should fight to eliminate ignorance, the enemy of wisdom. Using the weapons of self-control and determination, the spiritual warrior protects the realm of inner peace. When spiritual warriors refuse to fight in this battle against ignorance, they tarnish the honor of the higher self. To abandon self-control is to allow sense temptations to destroy one's bodily kingdom. It's an act of cowardice that brings self-criticism as well as the disdain of society. Be calm, Arjuna, in this Leela, this divine drama of life, and react with calmness to failure as well as to victory. Pardon me, folks. I must have dozed off for a minute there. Krishna now introduces Arjuna to the concept of Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means to count or to list. A guru or spiritual teacher will list the benefits of walking the spiritual path, and the students will advance upon the path through their practice. The teachings are called Sankhya, and the practice is called yoga. Through yoga, one learns to rise above the ego mind, uniting with the higher self, the Atman. The yogi thereby loses the ego's delusion of being separate from all other forms of life. On the path of yoga, the path of spiritual action, no effort will be wasted. The yogi will benefit from every step taken. Walking the path with the mind fixed on the eternal reality, the yogi will ultimately reach the goal of life. The material world has many paths of its own. Those who fix their attention on the material world weaken their minds with the confusion of choices. And as a result, they drift unfulfilled from lifetime to lifetime. Their desire-driven actions leave them lost in a seemingly endless cycle of births and deaths. And now Krishna brings up the subject of the gunas. There will be a lot more about the gunas in some of the later chapters, so if they don't make sense now, stick around. Very briefly, the gunas are the three qualities that make up the material world. They are inactivity, activity, and upliftment. Desire is what feeds these three qualities. And the more they are fed, the longer we remain bound to the wheel of reincarnation. Arjuna, if you concentrate on your higher self rather than on the material world, you can free yourself from your emotional bondage to the gunas. There is a divine plan for humans. In every lifetime that the soul experiences, there are countless choices to be made. Each choice is an opportunity to use one's free will, to choose serving the senses or serving the spirit. The first steps on the path are about learning to recognize, honor, and serve the divine spirit existing within everyone. This is the true purpose of life and will lead to liberation from the repetitious cycle of rebirths. The destiny of all souls and the ultimate goal of the yogi is complete union with immortal spirit. Krishna, how do sages who have attained this complete union act? How do they speak? How are they different from others? Self-realized yogis are perfectly content in all situations. They are not touched by emotions. There is no attachment to the sense pleasures of the body. They do not feel anger, which comes from non-fulfillment of desires. And they are fearless, secure in the calmness of their union with the eternal reality. Just as a tortoise draws in its limbs as a protection against harm, sages withdraw their senses from the perception of the material world. In deep meditation, they become one with the sound of Om. The guidance of wisdom is important for any who try to discipline their senses. Otherwise, they may be haunted by desire and will soon give in to temptation. For the sage, the light of wisdom has removed any shadows of desire. Although it is possible, even for sages, to be dragged by the grip of desire back into the realm of the senses. Denied desire may bring frustration. Frustration of desire breeds anger, and anger obscures the light of wisdom with the darkness of delusion, leading to the abandonment of the spiritual quest. The self-realized sage, on the other hand, navigates through the world of the senses with detachment and self-control, guided always by wisdom. The senses are merely instruments of the mind, Arjuna, and those who are free from the mind's desires and cravings can realize inner peace. They will never again be lured into the divine play of Leela by their ego or senses. Even if self-realization is not attained until the moment of death, one is freed forever from ego, desire, and the cycle of reincarnation. Work hard, Arjuna. Be patient. Once you have reached that divine goal, the problems of lifetimes will fade away, and never again will you be separated from divine spirit. Namaste.